The Las Vegas Raiders went 3-14 last season. They surrendered 64 sacks, the most in the NFL. Their franchise was a punchline. Then, John Spytek went to work. In one offseason, the Raiders spent over $281 million in free agency on day one alone, hired the head coach every team wanted in Clint Kubiak, and secured the #1 overall pick for Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza. Something is happening in Las Vegas. Max Crosby was supposed to be gone. The trade to Baltimore was done. Then it reversed. And the ripple effect on this defense is something nobody is talking about. Mendoza threw for 3,535 yards and 41 touchdowns on 72% completion at Indiana, leading the Hoosiers to an undefeated 16-0 season and a national championship. He walks into a quarterback room with Kirk Cousins, a 4-time Pro Bowler who knows the Kubiak system inside and out. Ashton Jeanty returns at running back, Brock Bowers returns at tight end. Jalen Nailor adds speed on the outside. The Raiders signed one player in free agency who changes everything for Mendoza before he takes a single snap. It is not the quarterback. It is not the receiver. When you see how the entire offense transforms around this signing, the rest of the AFC West has a problem. On the other side of the ball, Rob Leonard is installing a 3-4 defense built around speed and violence. Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean reunite at linebacker. Kwity Paye brings pass rush from Indianapolis. Taron Johnson locks down the slot. And with 10 draft picks loaded across 3 days, Spytek has the ammunition to fill every remaining gap. The AFC West has owned the Raiders for years. One stat from this offseason proves the division should be paying attention. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Raiders and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. Fernando Mendoza is not a raw prospect hoping to figure it out at the next level. He ranked first in the FBS in expected points added per dropback and overthrew or underthrew receivers on only 7.1% of attempts. His game is built on timing, accuracy, and pre-snap processing. Clint Kubiak runs an offense rooted in the Shanahan system, where the quarterback reads defenses before the snap, gets the ball out quick, and makes play action look identical to the run. Mendoza operated in a timing-based system at Indiana under Curt Cignetti and thrived when the offense gave him structure. The translation to Kubiak's playbook is seamless. Behind the scenes, the preparation has already started. Reports from Louis Riddick confirm Brian Griese has been working with Mendoza on Kubiak's offense, and sources say the quarterback is processing it faster than expected. Griese spent time with Kubiak in San Francisco and knows every detail of the system. He is feeding Mendoza the language, the progressions, and the timing concepts weeks before the draft. This is not standard procedure. Most #1 picks walk into their first minicamp cold. Mendoza will walk in warm. Then there is Kirk Cousins, 4 Pro Bowls, a career record of 88 wins, 77 losses, and 2 ties as a starter. Cousins has operated in the Shanahan tree his entire career, from Washington to Minnesota to Atlanta. He knows what Kubiak wants. The Raiders do not need Mendoza to start week 1. They have a veteran who keeps the offense competitive while the rookie develops at his own pace. And there is one more layer to this quarterback room nobody is discussing. Mendoza has called Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time. Brady is a minority owner of the Raiders. The mentorship pipeline is already in place. Rob Leonard spent 3 seasons as the Raiders' defensive line coach before earning the promotion to defensive coordinator. He knows the personnel, he knows what works. And his first move was a philosophical shift. Las Vegas is transitioning from a 4-3 base to a 3-4 scheme. This changes everything about how the Raiders defend. A 3-4 demands linebackers who fly sideline to sideline, edge rushers who stand up and create chaos, and a nose tackle who eats double teams. The free agency haul was designed specifically for this transition. Quay Walker led the Green Bay Packers in total tackles for 4 consecutive seasons. In 2025, he posted 128 tackles with a missed tackle rate of 4.5%. The Raiders had a historic tackling problem last year. Walker fixes it immediately. His Georgia teammate Nakobe Dean reunites with him in Las Vegas, giving the linebacker room 2 players who already know each other's tendencies from Athens. Dean is the better coverage linebacker. Walker is the better run defender. Together, they give Leonard the sideline-to-sideline speed the 3-4 demands. On the edge, Kwity Paye arrives from Indianapolis with 30.5 career sacks. Malcolm Koonce resigned after recording 4.5 sacks last season. The secondary added Taron Johnson through a trade with Buffalo and retained Eric Stokes at cornerback. The Raiders have more defensive talent on this roster than at any point in the last 5 years. The scheme is new. The players fit it. One position remains wide open, and the draft board at pick 36 has the exact player to fill it. John Spytek walked into the Raiders building in 2025 and tried to do everything himself. He admitted it publicly this spring. He said he tried to do too much. He shut people out. He went rogue during his first draft, not knowing the people around him, pushing his own vision without collaboration. The result was a 3-win season and a franchise in disarray. Most general managers in the NFL would never admit this. Spytek put it on the record without hesitation. Year 2 looks different. Spytek hired Brian Stark as assistant general manager. He described his relationship with Clint Kubiak as already stronger than his connection with the previous head coach ever was. He called this offseason approach intelligently aggressive, spending heavy in free agency while refusing to create false urgency. He also made a move no competitor has discussed. Spytek brought Brandon Graham and Anthony Patch into the front office from the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 of Howie Roseman's top lieutenants now work inside the Raiders building. Las Vegas is borrowing the organizational DNA of one of the NFL's most successful franchises over the past decade. The draft room has been rebuilt from the inside. The scouting staff has a full year under Spytek's direction. The coaching staff is aligned with the front office on every positional priority. Spytek told reporters he is open to all options on draft night, whether moving up from 36, trading down for more picks, or staying put. The Raiders hold 10 selections. 6 land in the top 135. This is the deepest draft arsenal Las Vegas has had in years, and the man running the board learned from his mistakes. The Raiders hold picks 1, 36, 67, 102, 117, 134, 175, 185, 208, and 219, 10 picks across 3 days. 7 of their 15 pre-draft visits were wide receivers. Denzel Boston from Washington, Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M, Zachariah Branch from Georgia, Jeremy Bernard from Alabama, Ted Hurst, Caleb Douglas, and Omar Cooper Jr. The message is clear. Receiver is a priority. Dontae Thornton Jr. and Jack Besh combined for 30 catches and 0 touchdowns in 2025. The passing game needs a legitimate outside weapon. On defense, the visits tell a different story. Caden McDonald from Ohio State is the top defensive tackle in the class, an elite run defender who clogs lanes and moves sideline to sideline. Christian Miller from Missouri offers more pass rush upside at the same position. Chris Johnson from San Diego State and Colton Hood from Tennessee are cornerback options. The safety room has only 3 players: Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Polamau, and Tristan McCollum. Names like Bud Clark from TCU, AJ Halsey from LSU, Trayton Stukes, and Zakee Wheatley fit the range at 67 or later. Here's where the Max Crosby trade reversal pays off. Baltimore backed out, Crosby stayed. The Raiders do not need to spend draft capital on an edge rusher. Crosby lines up on one side. Pay lines up on the other. Koonce rotates in. The edge is set. The 3-4 needs a nose tackle to anchor the middle, and Caden McDonald at pick 36 is the fit. His presence frees Crosby and Pay to rush one-on-one against offensive linemen who are no longer getting help. The trade reversal did not cost the Raiders 2 first-round picks. It gave them a defensive identity. The Kansas City Chiefs won the AFC West last season and lost in the divisional round. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the division, and it is not close. But the supporting cast around him has turned over. Key contributors have departed. The salary cap is tightening. The Chiefs are still dangerous, but they are no longer untouchable. The Los Angeles Chargers have Justin Herbert, a generational arm talent who has not won a playoff game since 2024. Their roster construction has stalled. The front office has been conservative when it needed to be aggressive. The Denver Broncos have Bo Nix entering year 2. Their 2025 season went backwards. The defense regressed. The offensive line remains a question mark. The Broncos are rebuilding in a division where the Raiders are spending at a historic pace. The gap between the bottom of the AFC West and the top has closed. The Chargers and Broncos both missed the playoffs last season. 3 of 4 AFC West teams finished with losing records. This is not the same dominant division it was 2 years ago. The Raiders went 3-14. Everyone knows the number, but every problem behind the number has been addressed. The sack total of 64, Tyler Linderbaum and a rebuilt offensive line fix it. The linebacker weakness, Walker and Dean fix it. The pass rush depth issue, Pay and Coons fix it. The quarterback void, Mendoza and Cousins fix it. The Raiders are not a playoff team tomorrow, but they are no longer the weakest link in this division, and the teams above them are not pulling away. The signing nobody is talking about enough is Tyler Linderbaum. Three-time Pro Bowl center, pass block win rate of 96.2% since entering the league in 2022. The Raiders gave up 64 sacks last season, worst in the NFL. Their run game sputtered despite having Ashton Jeanty, the 6th overall pick, running behind the line. Jeanty faced stacked boxes and collapsing pockets all year because the interior offensive line offered no resistance. Linderbaum changes the math at the point of attack. His arrival moves Jackson Powers-Johnson to right guard, a position where JPJ excels. Colton Miller holds down left tackle. The interior goes from a liability to a foundation. Rick Dennison, the offensive line coach, has a track record of developing high-upside linemen into starters. If the Raiders draft Chase Basantis from Texas A&M at 36 or Jennings Dunker at 67, the offensive line becomes one of the best in the AFC. Jeanty gets lanes. Mendoza gets time. Brock Bowers, coming off a rookie season with over 1,000 yards receiving, gets play-action opportunities in space. This is the signing driving the entire offensive rebuild. Cousins was necessary. Naylor adds speed. But Linderbaum is the player who protects the franchise quarterback, opens running lanes for the feature back, and gives Kubiak's play-action system room to operate. The Raiders are building this offense from the inside out. The center, the guards, the tackles, then the skill players. It is the same blueprint the San Francisco 49ers used, the same blueprint the Baltimore Ravens used. Kubiak learned it from his father. He is running it in Las Vegas. The Raiders went 3-14. They will not repeat it. John Spytek said this rebuild would not happen overnight. He said it would take sustained effort across multiple off-seasons. But the floor has been raised. The coaching staff is aligned. The quarterback room has a Heisman winner and a 4-time Pro Bowler. The defense has Pro Bowl talent at every level. And the draft delivers 10 more players in 3 days. Here is the stat the AFC West should be watching. The Raiders committed over $281 million in free agency contracts on day one of the new league year. No team in the division spent at this level. No team in the division made this many impact additions in a single offseason. The spending was historic. The execution was targeted. Every dollar went to a position of need. This is not reckless spending. This is a franchise loading the foundation before the franchise quarterback arrives. The Raiders win 7 games minimum in 2026. Fernando Mendoza will start before Week 10, and by the end of the season, this team will be in the conversation for second place in the AFC West. By 2027, the Raiders are a wild card contender. Drop your win total prediction in the comments and subscribe before the draft night breakdown drops. The picks start Thursday in Pittsburgh. The rebuild is already ahead of schedule, and Raider Nation has waited long enough